This might be one of the few times double cav makes sense in a TV2. One and all, welcome back to the team game action. We've got another game from the $3,000 2v2 tournament. Game 1, Puppy Paw and Beastie absolutely dismantled Louis and Dumu. This time, they might be turning the aggro up harder. Dumu on the Delhi, Louis on the French. Meanwhile, Puppy Paw is going to be wielding the Mongols and Beastie bringing out Jeanne. This is interesting because, like, you know, Jeanne, you'd think she does okay here, right? She can build knights just like Louis can. Delhi are just a civ you farm. They give so much XP over. And normally, like, if this was just Delhi versus Jeanne, I'd see the logic of what Beastie has. But I think Louis being on French makes this really tricky and sticky. There's a world in which Dumu and Louis just kind of play double cav, play away from Puppy Paw, and target Beastie. Because Beastie's going to go cav, that's obvious. Jeanne's going to become a liability if it's Ghazi and Knights. I'm wondering what Puppy Paw's strat's going to be. I mean, we're getting that atypical outpost rush opening. I don't think you go... Do you go Keshiks here? That's actually intriguing to think about, actually. It sounds really dented at first, but like if you do see double cav, you react with double cav. Because if you build Keshiks plus the Knights with the Divine Restoration, you have a lot more sustainability as the Northside team. So with that thought in mind, maybe this is one of those games where Dumu has to go for Tower of Victory instead of Dome of Faith and build spears. Which would be a drastic difference right now because I feel like 80% of the games we've been seeing out of Delhi, it's been Dome of Faith. It's incredibly popular. So we're going to speed up to the 2x speed just for the early game here. Puppy Paw already marching towards Louis' base. Makes a lot of sense. You want to block the Knight spam. This is a really important detail that makes the Mongols feel really, really good in these matchups right now. We actually saw it already once in the playoff phase where the whole logic is if you just delay the first 2 Knights, you give a big enough lead to Jeanne that this matchup that usually shouldn't favor her leans towards her. Same with when you do French and Mongols as well. So Spearmen are going to arrive. Louis immediately cancels the mining camp. He's accepted his fate here. Just going to pull back now. Understands that he's not going to get more than this. Meanwhile, we have got Tower Victory. So yeah, Dumu is going to be playing that mass infantry comp. We'll see double production from Puppy Paw. It's so expensive. Even after they buffed it, it's still 124 stone. There's just so much more you can do, right? Like when you're playing with Jeanne as well, I don't think you should be playing the eco win. You should be playing the aggro win. So if you spend that stone on villagers instead of, say, Keshiks or archers or spearmen, you're just kind of giving your opponents an advantage at an early phase in the game where Jeanne should be most impactful. So Outpost is going to go up. Love the laming on the deer. Puppy Paw. Just trying to make sure that there's no safe food or no desirable food nearby for Louis. Louis, who, by the way, ended up with 18 sheep, so he will be safe at home for a while. Beastie only has 6. Oh, no, guys. Not just Beastie only has 6. Puppy Paw only has 6. Now, what is essentially a mirror, this is a huge difference. Louis might be blocked on gold, but not eternally. He's got Southside gold. I think Beastie's in trouble. It means that Louis can play safe with his food. He does have to admittedly outpost his gold, but that's between the 2 bases, right? Meanwhile, look at the spawn. Beastie has to play deer here, here. It's on flanks, right? This is very advantageous for Louis because it means that if Beastie wants to be safe, he either needs to build spearmen and leave them there, keep his knights at home, or build outposts. Every time you add another outpost in this matchup, it allows your opponent half a knight lead. So admittedly, like Louis slightly behind here, right? Having a double outpost is a knight behind. But in reaction, Beastie's probably going to have to like double outpost, double deer. Or play pro scouts. Of course. So pro scouts it is. Not... I don't know. I'm not usually crazy about this. We've seen this already once today where I believe it was Voldemar and Marine Lord, right? And doing pro scouts lost you the knight lead. Right now, Beastie has a slight knight lead, right? Because of that gold blocker. But Louis should be able to supplement the difference because of Pro Scout's cost, right? Like, yes, it's discounted for the French, but it's still 1 less knight you have. Does at least fix his issues as the game goes on. Because now he doesn't have to worry about the outpost or anything else. I'm curious, just maybe Louis tries something similar. He'll need to gather the gold first of all. I think Louis will likely try to play a knight advantage and then just play out into the deer. And he should have the assist for that, right? Spearmen and archers are now coming, and they are the best of the best. Because remember, Dumu went Tower Victory, so these all have a better attack speed. We did get... Yeah. So, had this been a Dome of Faith build, Silver Tree is really smart. But because this is a Tower Victory build, it has a much more aggressive tone to it for the Southside team. So what they should be doing now, their big priority should be to just take the center map and lock Sacred Sites. And then you can just raid, right? Because you'll have mass knights to do so. Damn, this is going to be a tricky and sticky one. I think Puppy Paw just needs time, and he needs time not being noticed here. Puppy Paw just still trying to lame the deer on the backside. I love the little ring of rosies there with the knight to try and just offset damage onto the scout. One's if you think Louis and Dimmu are going to win this one. Two's if you think Puppy Paw and Beastie have got it. This is intriguing. I think that Louis and Dimmu have a really solid timing here. Because in a way, it is like double greed from Beastie and Puppy Paw. Like, Beastie's isn't egregious. It's just pro scouts, right? So it's like, it's not like you've gone for a second TC. And it pays for itself in terms of the defenses you now don't need to build. But this is going to feel really greedy. Especially when you're trying to build archer spears in a matchup against Delhi. Delhi just building better archers and spears already, right? So the fact that you're now behind on the economy because you're investing into boosting it later, it kind of feels like Puppy Paw is looking for that transition point where you can afford Keshiks for this to make sense. But that's like 5 minutes away, I want to say. And in 2 minutes, you could see Sacred Sites being locked in. I just realized, actually, Puppy Paw and Beastie are playing full hero comp. AoE 4 gamers, Warcraft gamers. Well, one hero is down. I actually think it's kind of underrated playing Jeanne plus Mongols, by the way, because maneuver speed works on her as well. Just think about that for a second. Maneuver speed arrow, 2 movement speed Jeanne running into you with a cleave. It's pretty wild. Trying to contest him now. I just don't think this works. The spearman count is good enough. We'll be able to push away the knights. Jeanne looking to dive in here, but the knights are lurking. And just 1 or 2 knights can easily club her down and chase her down. Mongol and JD start with 2 fewer villagers. Well, you know what the answer to that is. Kill their villagers. It's going to be more than that, though. Remember, Louis is scaling more villagers over time. Jeanne starting to take a bit of a beating here. 2 flurries come out for the archers. She's already down to half HP due to the +1 damage already in. No ranged armor yet by Beastie. Heavily delayed on getting the blacksmiths up. It's problematic here. Remember what we said. This is all about Dimmu. It's his time to shine. This is the Delhi dominance point. There is no blacksmith answer from either red or yellow. It means they could not afford to fight with Dimmu, who already would have had an edge due to the Tower of Victory attack speed. I love this relentlessness as well. Check the way they're just chasing. Dimmu isn't content with the idea of just taking Sacred Sites. He's moving deeper. Hunting into Puppy Paw's base here. And he's going to know for sure. It's definitely Silver Tree play, right? It's kind of obvious when you see there's no Yam from the outpost. Archers are going to start diving underneath the outpost. And considering the +1 tech advantage, it's still going to be a good fight for him. Now start to torch down. Knights are here. Spearmen are here. Puppy Paw's in trouble. He needs some assistance quickly. Archer count has at least been depleted. Jeanne might be able to fight, but considering there's already 10 knights and Beastie only has 6, this is not a fight you can assist with. Movement speed arrow is going to be used for Puppy Paw just to try and retreat away quicker. But his knight count is his archer count rather is non-existent. I think we've got another quick game on our hands here. Jeanne cleaving nothing there. And you can tell who's been chugging the protein works because I can see the beefy biceps on these spearmen. Jeanne has been skipping arm and leg day. Actually, a lot of leg day in here as she runs away. Another thing that actually having PW would have been useful for. Oof. Bulky boys now pushing in onto Beastie's side. Beastie in a situation where he doesn't have the knight numbers, now doesn't have the gold access to even get more. And archers are going to move in for the snipe, not able to get that final strike. But this is just a back and forth flow, right? Like every time you're seeing Beastie or Puppy Paw have to come to assist, and it puts their army then out of position. Yeah, I think the knight lead is just too big. Even if you clean up Dumu's archers, they've done enough now. Knight charge comes in. +1 ranged armor is at least now there. +1 ranged damage for Puppy Paw. But the knights are the difference maker. And remember, another funny thing there is Beastie, he's playing Jeanne, who lost access to the free melee tech. So even in equal numbers, these knights are slightly better for pink. These numbers are far from equal. Butchering on the gold line. Full entrapment there. Louis and Dumu now almost 20 eco ahead. They might be by the end of this assault. How do you get out of this now? I mean, you haven't even got safe trade, right? The trade is running straight by here, so you get sniped on traders as well. Behind this, Sacred Site timer has been ticking, right? They're 9 minutes away from a victory. Jeanne, is she almost level 3? She's doing all right. She's 100 XP off. And in fairness, it is melee Jeanne, but here's the funny thing, guys. Melee Jeanne really isn't as impressive as you think against mass rural knights. Melee Jeanne level 3 can be an out in a 1v1 between France and Jeanne, because in a 1v1, there's probably going to be more than just knights added in. Eventually. But in team games, Louis just gets to keep doing this non-stop. On top of that, Beastie is down by 15 villages. Level 3 Jeanne is not the out you think it is. If she gets surrounded, she gets pounded. It's just too much damage from these guys. It's why like heavy cav is the absolute counter to Jeanne. Even when she gets that level 3, it feels rough. Archermass at least getting pretty big for Puppy Paw. This is just difficult. Sacred Sites are now being decapped. Looks like Beastie starting to add in Horsemen. Had to go cheap mode on this. Doesn't have the ability to easily get access to the gold. Now trying to fix that on the west side. And Dumu. Well, no wonder the Archer Ball hasn't got bigger. He's going Castle Age. House of Learning as well. So I wonder, does he just switch knights as well? Right? Home Blades makes them incredibly potent. He's already got 5 scholars. Should be looking to scale more, especially with the 3 Sacred Sites, or rather 2 now. Allows him. This wasn't a Dome of Faith build, remember. But actually, what is really cool here is the idea of just Men-at-Arms instead of Lancers. Home Blades with Men-at-Arms and the Tower of Victory attack speed is kind of ludicrous. It's closer to 4 damage increase than 3. Your Archer's now diving in as well. More outposts being rushed up by Beastie. I mean, the Knights can just destroy all this, guys. Jeanne might get level 3, but it's going to have a blood cost to it. Archer's not targeting her down. Looks like they're actually going to back up. Lou decides it's not worth it. Level 3 Jeanne is going to be coming in. He has to recommit, though, because Dumu doesn't want to leave. Too late, though. Dumu's going to get mopped up. They realized the moment the tech came out that he wasn't bringing more troops. So Louis just needs to get these knights away. Level 3 Jeanne is in play. If Beastie and Puppy Paw counterattack quickly, there is an opportunity, but they need to be fast about this. Dumu is already going to be prepping the best of the best. Crossbows and Men-at-Arms now on the way. It's a substantial lead for Louis and Dumu. There is a small opportunity for Puppy Paw and Beastie, though. You'd think it's on Beastie, but it's more on Puppy Paw. Puppy Paw has the mass, right? A lot of archers here, 40 in total. But this is wild. Louis also now going age 3. And you see the damage I'm talking about for Jeanne. It's just... It's awkward, right? Like, if you miss-micro her for a second, she gets surrounded by knights, she's dead. There's no getting out of that. The cleave isn't good enough to kill them. Nice raid here, though. Able to hit off some of the eco. Louis has at least got the outpost here, so shouldn't lose another 5. I say shouldn't. Might still end up. And Jeanne, oh my god! You see what we're talking about here. She barely got away with that. fact, nice body block there. Protects Jeanne at the very last second. Divine Restoration still on cooldown for 40 seconds. Let me know if your draws drop them when you realize just how underwhelming melee Jeanne is against French. Because this is the thing, like, you know, you think about it for a second, you're like, wow, I mean, Jeanne, she's so tanky at level 3. She's got cleave. You wouldn't want to stack melee units into her, right? Right? 190 health, chivalry. You offset a cleave in 30 seconds. Like, think about the maths involved in that, by the way. Holy Wrath takes 60 seconds to recharge and do 30 damage. These knights only need 30 seconds to offset that damage done. Kind of wild when you think about it that way. And because they're knights, they will be able to run away and heal. Feels like Louis just in dominant control in this knight matchup right now. It's 18 to 18, but remember, the Royal Institute there. We've now got Cantled Saddles and Royal Bloodlines on the way. And the backstab comes in. Jeanne's down. I think this is the beginning of just the surge point. Step Redoubt is at least on the way. But remember, this is a game where Puppy Paw did go for Silver Tree. Now having to go Step Redoubt as well tells you how desperate the situation is. Admittedly, you wouldn't have got as much value out of Kurultai because your teammate is playing Mass Knights, but still. It hurts to have to go this route. Usually you want to be at like 15 traders and feel good and feel like gold isn't going to be a problem. One more skulls getting added for Dimmu. Men-at-Arms numbers are looking good. He's looking for the push-in. Archers need to be priority upgrade here. And there it is. Veterancy's on the way. Meantime, 1-2 Knights from Louis being a little bit annoying. The main group is now on the way. Small flank group tried to chase into BC's base. Is going to force a reaction. But that means that Puppy Paw's defense is a lot weaker now. They're going to look to punish that. Knights are now converging. All the techs are there, charging onto the villager line. Puppy Paw a little bit slow on the reaction to pull away. We'll look to seek a garrison, a suit to shelter here. Heading towards BC, hoping that that's going to be his saving grace. But this knight count is too high. BC can't defend against it. The dive continues in the meantime. Those men-at-arms are insanely tanky here. And the veterancy is still not there. I think Puppy Paw is going to lose too much out of this. Louis, in the meantime, just able to keep BC out of the affair at all times. And just a few more knights now showing up, absorbing more of these blows, and finally a recommitment. There's no way to run. Puppy Paw, veterancy comes through, but his army is now in peril. I think that might be the backbreaker there. Jeanne is going to look to commit in here. But they are pretty much defending themselves in the middle of BC's economy. Jeanne not able to get those deep cleaves either. Men-at-Arms line is a little bit thin. Maybe Louis is going to lose his front force here. But it feels like in return, BC is going to lose everything. And the focus fire as well. Dimmu just taking down the backline as quickly as possible. Finally, Jeanne is able to reach in, but the body blocks are there. The Knights target her down, and she is about to be dead. Damn. Brutal game. Puppy Paw and BC down to just 20 military. Now 30 economy behind. Jeanne barely surviving here. Final strike's about to come in for the ranged units, and that is Jeanne dead. Jeanne dunked. And a game 3 required here because Puppy Paw and Beastie have been picked to the bone. Sick execution, man. What a play. The double castle looked greedy for a second there, but once again, it felt like Jeanne could do no right in this game. Great read, great execution out of the Southside team to keep this series going all the way to a third game.